Hey, friends, welcome to episode 25 of the Streamlined Motherhood podcast. So, today I'm going to be talking about creating rhythms and routines for a new normal. This is a topic that has been coming up pretty much consistently every single day within my community. I receive messages from other mamas who are just struggling with all of these changes and trying to create a routine that fits the whole family when everyone is at home. And so, actually, last week I gave a talk to my Facebook group, my private Facebook group called Streamline Motherhood, about this exact topic. And this is what I'm going to share with you today. So, grab a notebook and let's jump right in. This is the Streamlined Motherhood podcast. I'm Kate Saffel, certified Simplicity Parenting family life coach and mom of 3. I'm here to guide you back to your intuition, to help you overcome daily overwhelm, and to start feeling confident in the mama and woman you are. Each episode, I'll share tips and encouragement for thriving on your motherhood journey, because this life you're living is way too important to put on autopilot. So, I'm guessing that you probably have some thoughts about how things are going. You may be feeling frustrated and overwhelmed and just stuck in the uncertainty of how do I school my kids and maybe work a job, or maybe someone in your home has just lost a job and there's all this tension. How do we go from here? Well, I want to tell you first, before we even get into the nitty gritty of routines and rhythms, that your mindset or how you think about your circumstances is absolutely crucial right now, because the thing is that your thoughts can make or break your day. Think about it. Have you ever woken up and maybe you woke up on the wrong side of the bed? You were tired and something happened that created frustration. Maybe the kids started fighting or bugging you about breakfast before you even had a chance to get up and make that first cup of coffee. My guess is that the rest of your day kind of just went downhill, that you continued in that state of mind of frustration and feeling overwhelmed. And that is because your initial thought that you had, whatever it was, whether it's, I'm so exhausted and I don't want to get up, or everyone bugs me the moment I wake up, whatever that thought is, impacted your entire day. Our thoughts create feelings, and our feelings ultimately create our outcomes. So, again, before we get to the routines and rhythms, if you have been telling yourself lately that you cannot handle being home with the kids, that it's too hard, that you're not meant to do this, it is going to create all of those negative feelings, and ultimately it's going to impact your results in your day. So of course then, if you're thinking, I can't handle this, by the end of the day, you are going to believe that you couldn't handle it, because everything is going to align in your day to agree with that initial thought. And whenever we feel uncertain about what is happening in our lives and in our home, then we tend to avoid taking purposeful action and instead do things that are not helpful, that keep us stuck in place. So I want you to ask yourself, what are you choosing to believe about being home right now with your kids? What is the thought that you're holding? And what feeling is being created from those thoughts? Write it down. Here's the deal. None of us have been through this particular circumstance before with this pandemic, right? We don't really have evidence of having successfully gone through it to know what it's going to look like on the other side. But we do have evidence of how we have successfully managed challenges before. And I know that you are so strong and that you have faced challenges and overcome them. So what I want you to do is look for examples of times that you faced a challenge and you overcame it. Think back on those. Ask yourself, what did I think at the time that helped me to get through this? How did that make me feel? I want you to decide right now how you are going to show up for yourself and your family for the foreseeable future. We don't know what's coming down the pipeline, right? So we can't exactly wait for things to change or to get better or for there to be more regularity. We create the regularity. We create the consistency. Make a choice of how you want to show up for your family and commit to it today. Okay? Because again, creating a routine, as lovely and wonderful as that sounds, will not work if your head is not in the right place. That's it. Okay. So I think I've probably made myself pretty clear at this point. And I am saying all of this out of love because I know what it's like to sit with those feelings of fear and uncertainty and panic. And so we're going to do this from a place of empowerment, of decisiveness, and go forward. So let's talk routines and rhythms. So our goal with creating any sort of rhythm or schedule is to do several things. One, we want to create stability and security for our kids and ourselves so that we know what to expect on a daily basis. Our children thrive on consistency and knowing what to expect every single day. And so I want you to decide right now what goals you have for creating your routine or rhythm. Why are you even wanting one? What do you think that this is going to accomplish for you? So, we sometimes use the words routine and rhythm interchangeably. Rhythm is very much a term that is popular in the Waldorf world, Waldorf being just a style of education. It's not really important that you know anything about it, but it influenced the book Simplicity Parenting, in which I have my life coach certification through. Simplicity Parenting is a book by Kim John Payne. I think most of you know that I love it and I use it a lot. So a rhythm is more of a flow that goes through your day and it loosely determines how you spend big chunks of time. Whereas a routine is typically very scheduled, it's detailed, it's specific. Maybe it's by the half hour, maybe it's by the hour. The point of a routine is that every day pretty much looks the same, whereas a rhythm leaves space for things to change. I will say, though, that for those of you who are home with young kids right now and you're trying to homeschool or do the distance learning, as well as maintain your home and maybe work and all of that, I recommend creating a rhythm first, getting your feet wet with that. And then if you find that it is successful, you can make it as detailed as you like. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into what actually is a rhythm and how to set one up. So your rhythm is a consistent pattern to your day that is made up of large time blocks. We use those time blocks as containers to hold the activities that are meant for that day. So this means you only do what you need to do during that block and nothing else. I personally find that to be a big relief, that I know that if I'm in our homeschool block, I'm not going to be trying to work at the same time. This is really great for those of us who love to multitask, because it shows that when you commit to just doing one thing during your time block, you're actually a lot more effective and you can get more done because you're not distracted and your brain isn't switching back and forth between several different things. So with how chaotic everything is right now for everyone, I highly recommend getting clear on the blocks that you need so that you can meet everyone's needs, including yours. And here's how you're going to set it up. So this is a great time to get out a piece of paper or maybe just even jot down some notes and then tackle this later. So you're going to take a piece of paper and vertically write the hours of the day, starting with when you wake up and then when you go to bed. So it should go just straight down the page. Decide if you want to commit to a block of time for yourself in the morning. This is so important to me. I live by my morning routine. It wasn't always the case for me, I'll be honest. Like there was a period of my life where I would just wake up when my kids woke up and I would always feel behind like the entire day. And I hated that, but I also was like, oh, I don't really want to get up early. I do have an episode specifically about morning routine, so I'm not going to go super deep into this, but I will tell you this. My husband and I have been getting up around like 6 or 6:30 now, making our coffee and then sitting out on the front porch and watching the sunrise. Sometimes we'll listen to an audiobook or a podcast or something inspirational that helps us get our brains in the right place for the day. And it has been so good. So I highly recommend that. I know that sounds crazy to get up with the sun, but it feels really good. Okay. All right. So all that to say, do you want a block of time for yourself in the morning before the kids wake up? If yes, then, kind of figure out what time it is that your kids typically wake up and then plan for even 15 minutes before that. That can be a big help. 30, an hour. You can baby step yourself into getting up early and earlier each day, but even just like I said, 15 minutes can be super helpful. So, like I said, I typically get up around 6, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, and I do my morning routine until about 7:30 a.m. For reference, my 7 time blocks throughout the day currently are morning routine, our family morning block, our homeschool block, an afternoon block, evening block, bedtime block. I feel like I'm saying the word block a lot. And then my bedtime routine. You want to make sure that every hour of the day is accounted for. Our family includes cleanup in the morning, afternoon, and bedtime blocks so that we're not getting behind on household chores because nobody wants to wake up to a sink full of dirty dishes. Am I right? That is the worst. You may want to include a separate block just for cleaning and laundry, and that is up to you. That's the beauty of the system, is you create the blocks that you need. Instead of just allowing your day to happen to you and constantly reacting to it, you decide how your day is going to go. Okay, so next, I want you to create a task list. What you're going to do is make a list of every task that needs to happen on a daily basis. Yes, this may be overwhelming. It may also be very enlightening to get all of those to-dos out of your head and on paper. You're then going to assign each of them to a time block. I would also recommend asking yourself if every single task is even necessary or if you can let some of it go and lighten your load. Right now, all of our brains are at capacity with all of the new information, the stressors of what we're living through, right? And so lighten your load. Seriously. Do what you need to do, the most essential tasks so that you can keep your home life running, your work life running, whatever it is that is a necessity. But otherwise, now is not the time to do extra tasks unless you feel compelled and eager to do so. Once you get done with this list and you've put it, you've scheduled it into your time blocks, you can just throw the list away. You're done with it. You don't need to hang on to it. Okay, so that is it for your time blocking. And it's a pretty painless process that once you get the hang of it, it is really going to be a big help to your days. Now, if you're someone who benefits from having an even more detailed schedule, you may want a routine. For me personally, I use an hourly routine. Actually, I schedule down to the half hour. And this is because I work from home as a life coach and I'm currently working every day of the week. So as a work from home mom, I need this consistency so I don't accidentally, miss a client call, so that I am being proactive with my time and making sure that I'm completing all of the tasks that are necessary for running my business. But my routine aligns with our daily rhythm. So currently, my husband and I are divvying up the workday with him working the mornings and I'm working the afternoons. So what this means is I typically homeschool the entire morning. And then if there's any, little assignments my kids didn't get done, he wraps up those tasks in the afternoon when I go into work mode. I don't keep a homeschool schedule for my kids, just being totally honest with you all. But I do have a daily task list of assignments that they need to complete. And they do kind of the same things every day. So there is that consistency in such a way that I don't feel like we really need a detailed routine for them. Okay, so why are we doing all of this? What is the point of the routine? Why are we all so attracted to it, right? Because, like I said, um, I get so many DMs and emails and client questions about routines. Why are we all so drawn to it? Well, one of the big reasons is that it creates stability for ourselves and for our kids. And I think that that's so important with everything happening in the world right now, all the uncertainty, that we have some stability in the home. Even though your kids may not be totally aware of what's going on, they can feel it, right? They sense that we're stressed, that we're scared, maybe that we're not sleeping well. They know the difference, right? And we can manage some of our feelings of all of this by doing thought work daily. I like to think of doing mindset work as cleaning out our brains every day. Like, right? You brush your teeth daily, clean out your mind and make sure that you're only holding the thoughts that you need to hold so that you can show up to the highest ability for your family. And if this is something that you struggle with, please know that for the remainder of the month of April, I'm still offering single sessions. These are 50 minutes long, and it can make a huge difference in your emotional capacity to show up for your family. So definitely reach out if you want to get on my books for a session, because I can help you so that then you are able to help your family. So, there are 3 ways that I love creating security within the daily rhythm for my family. And those are previewing, pauses, and ritual. And I'm going to just explain a little bit more about each of these because I think that they'll be highly beneficial to add to your daily rhythm if you're not already doing them. So, the first one is previewing. And this is such a good one for kids, especially who crave consistency and stability and tend to have, like behavioral problems if things aren't very routine and regular. But this really works great for all kids. So every night, what you can do is when you're putting your kids to bed, sit down with them and just tell them what to expect the next day. So this is what it might look like. You might say, okay, honey, I just wanted to let you know what tomorrow is going to look like. So we're going to eat breakfast and then we're going to go get dressed and brush our teeth and make our beds. And after that, we're going to focus on homeschooling. And I didn't forget that you wanted to do a science experiment. So we will make sure to do that before lunch. After lunch, we're going to go spend some time outdoors. We're going to take a walk around the neighborhood. And then I was thinking maybe I would read aloud to you from our chapter book. And then we're all going to go in the kitchen and cook dinner together. We're going to sit down for a nice meal. You guys can ride bikes for a few minutes after dinner. And then we're going to start our bedtime routine. So how does that sound? Okay, so that was kind of a preview of a preview, right? I just gave the basic information of what they can expect. And this helps their brains to settle down because they know the plan. They know what's coming, right? It's such a beautiful thing. So another tool that I love to use to create security for my kids is introducing pauses. And we do this throughout the day. So just like in yoga or meditation where we focus on our breath, we also need to allow time to just breathe in our days. This gives our children a chance to transition from one block to another. So here are some ideas that you could try for adding a pause to your day. Maybe you might read just a chapter aloud from a feel-good picture or chapter book. I currently love picking books that have great messages in them that remind my kids that they are strong and resilient, right? It's just a subtle way to help strengthen our children's courage by giving them examples of courageous children. So that's one reason why we love reading books like Little House on the Prairie, We're currently reading Harry Potter because why not? We love it. Another way to introduce a pause is to help your kids do a little meditation daily. They could do a yoga routine. We've been doing a kids version of The Class. This is a workout I like to do. You can look it up on Instagram. I think it's literally The Class. And if you sign up for their streaming, they have kids workouts, and absolutely not affiliated with them at all. My kids just really love doing it, and they're like 12 to 18 minutes long. Another way to create a pause is just sitting down and giving hugs and telling them how much you love them and what's special about them, and just cuddling for a moment. You could pray as a family. You could set intentions or speak affirmations. You could have a dance party. You could sit down and all draw together or create a story. You could go for a walk, or you could simply go outside and put your bare feet in the dirt and use your senses to observe the world so that you can kind of tune out all of the noise of the busyness of the day. And sometimes what we need is just nothing at all, right? I know I personally need pauses where I can just go into a quiet room and just take 2 minutes to take some deep breaths and recenter myself so that I can go back to doing my job of being a mom and a life coach. So just consider what it is that would create a sense of pause in your day and start putting those into your daily rhythm. The last way to add some stability and security to your days is to create rituals. I love adding rituals because they just add a layer of meaning to the day. These are moments for your family to elevate an activity into something more meaningful. I personally am a big fan of using candles to distinguish when we are doing a ritual. Although, funny story, I almost burned down our travel trailer when we were living in it because I left a candle burning on the dinette table and it caught the plastic on fire. I know, it was crazy. I don't know if you remember me telling that story. That was about a year ago, but it was a really close one. So now my kids, if I light a candle, they'll come up behind me and blow it out. So, we haven't been using candles as much lately, but I do love to use them safely, right, when we're paying attention to them. We've also started having dessert as a family on Sunday nights where we'll use a real tablecloth, right? Like I've got a stack of vintage ones that I love, and we'll light that candle because I just keep mentioning them. And my husband and I will make a French press of decaf. We'll make a simple dessert for the kids. And it's just a moment to connect. And, we'll often share what we're grateful for or what went well that day. So whatever it is that speaks to you and your family, think about what you believe, what you value, what's important to you, and then create some rituals around that. And it's just really such a wonderful addition to our daily rhythms more than ever, right? This is the time to create these rituals. Okay, friends, so that's it. I just want to remind you that as you go about your days right now under this stay-at-home order, remember that you set the tone for your family. I know that this can be a hard job, and I know it can be overwhelming. You're not alone in these feelings, but I want to encourage you that you are strong and you're resilient and that you can do what you need to do for yourself and your family. So I want you to decide today how this next week is going to go for your family, right? Make a plan, write it down, have a family meeting and share it. And don't be afraid to improvise if it's not going how you want, okay? Nothing is ever perfect. If you need extra help creating a routine or a rhythm for a family, please book a consult with me. These are 50 minutes, they're free, and I can help show you how to overcome any struggles that you're having and make a plan going forward. Okay, mamas, thank you so much for listening, for being a part of this community, and for bravely leading your families. Reach out anytime, and I will see you next time. Hey mamas, if you enjoyed this episode, did you know that coaching with me one-on-one is the fastest and the best way to implement all of these ideas? I teach my clients exactly how to stop daily overwhelm, to overcome negativity and that feeling that you're never enough. You know what I'm talking about, right? And we do this so that you can confidently become the mama and woman you've always dreamed of being. There's no shame in getting help. We all need a helping hand. So head to thestreamlinedlife.com/life coaching with Kate Saffel. That's SAFFLE to sign up for a free 50-minute consult with me. And together we'll get clear on all of your struggles and a roadmap for how to overcome them. You and I together, we've got this.